In the heart of Idemili village, there lived a man named Ezeoba. He was a young, ambitious soul determined to surpass the legacy of his forefathers. His ancestors were legends. They were strong, they were influential, and they were very proud men. They held the highest titles in the land. They married many wives. They owned vast lands, and their barns overflowed with yams and cassava. They could work tirelessly from morning till night on their farms, and they could climb the tallest palm trees with just their bare hands, feats that other men could not dream of achieving. Ezeoba inherited his forefathers' dogged spirit, but despite his relentless efforts, his life was filled with misfortune. His wife Nneka was barren, and his farm yields were disappointingly poor. To add insult to injury, voracious grasscutters frequently devoured his crops. Frustrated and bitter, Ezeoba often took out his anger on Nneka, his wife, turning from a loving husband into a fearsome tyrant. Nneka endured his rage silently, her heart breaking a little more each day. Ezeoba's temper extended beyond his home. At the village drinking bar, he had once beat a man senseless for mocking him after losing a drought game. The man had called him a dullard, and this had echoed in Ezeoba's mind, fueling his fury. He does not want anybody to refer to him as a dullard because it made him remember his failures. One day, while walking on his farm, Ezeoba saw ripe palm fronds and climbed his tall palm tree to harvest them. But just as he was about to start harvesting them, he heard the noise of grasscutters gallivanting in his farm, eating his yams. Filled with rage, he considered jumping down to behead them, but then something happened. He paused. The grasscutters were speaking. To his shock, they revealed themselves as spirit children seeking revenge. Ezeoba stayed glued to his spot, unmoved like a stick, listening intently to their conversation. From their conversation, his mind raced back to a dark memory from his childhood. He could remember how he had accidentally killed his cute teacher, Adanna. Adanna often mocked Ezeoba because of his big head, a feature that had earned him the name Basket Head among his classmates back in those days. However, one day, while Ezeoba was returning back from the stream, his teacher had mocked him, calling him a big head, and Ezeoba has gotten annoyed and had pushed her away. She fell as a result and had gone into a premature labor because she was pregnant as at the time. Tragically, she had died, and the twin in her belly had also died. However, what Ezeoba did not know was that Adanna, before this time, has cried to the river goddess Nwadi after 5 years of her barrenness, and moved by tears and devotion, Nwadi had blessed her with twins. However, Ezeoba had killed those twins, and those twins had returned as grasscutters to avenge the untimely death, always eating up his crops, despite any measure he has taken to weed them off. Now the spirit children were discussing their plan. They want to be reborn as Ezeoba's children, bringing him wealth and happiness. However, on their 18th birthday, they allege that they will die tragically, taking all his wealth and leaving him even more miserable than he had ever been. One will be torn apart by lions on her wedding day, and the other will drown in the Idemili River. They also confessed that they were the ones responsible for Ezeoba's poverty and his wife's barrenness, causing him sufferness until their revenge was complete. Ezeoba stayed motionless, listening to every word. When the grasscutters finally left, he climbed down gently, his mind a whirlwind of fear and regret. He quickly ran to go and see his friend Obinna. Obinna is wise and calm, and Ezeoba confided in him. Obinna calmed down the situation and advised Ezeoba to be patient. He said that he has a plan that will keep the children safe and that they will stay with Ezeoba. Ezeoba was shocked when he revealed the plan. Every night, Ezeoba lay in bed with a heavy heart, wondering if Obinna's plan will work. What if he failed? Before that season came to an end, his wife miraculously conceived and gave birth to twins, a boy named Chinedu and a girl named Amara. Although Ezeoba should have been overjoyed, he was consumed by dread. Even after the children were born, he kept on worrying. What if the plan failed? He had come to love the children, and he had never seen his wife happier. Nneka's joy was infectious, and for the first time in years, Ezeoba felt genuine happiness too. He was ready to do anything to protect his newfound happiness. Initially, Ezeoba avoided the twins, seeing them as harbingers of doom. However, as they grew, their laughter and playfulness began to soften his heart. Amara in particular won his affection with her gentle nature. This loving daughter of hers insisted on being the one serving his food, a gesture that deeply touched him. As the twins grew, Ezeoba's wealth grew. His farm flourished and he became immensely wealthy and rose to become one of the most wealthy men in Idemili and beyond. The village honored him with the chieftaincy title for Melora, meaning he who does good for the community. This was because Ezeoba had become charitable, and his philanthropic efforts were celebrated far and wide for all he was doing for the community and for the poor and needy in Idemili. Yet, as the twins' 18th birthday approached, Ezeoba's anxiety grew. The shadow of the prophecy loomed large. He and Obinna had devised a plan to outsmart fate, but he was scared. What if this plan failed? So the children would die, and then his wife would be miserable, and him too. On Amara's wedding day, he planned for hunters to secretly follow her to her husband's house. Armed with powerful weapons, they were ready for any threat. The wedding day was a mix of joy and dread, and Amara looked radiant, but Ezeoba's heart was heavy. He faked a smile. Finally, as he handed his daughter to Nneka the groom, tears welled up in his eyes. Nneka too was filled with anxiety, her heart pounding with every step her daughter took. She prayed silently, her eyes never leaving Amara. But hers was just a mother's anxiety. She did not really know what Ezeoba was facing. The procession was filled with music and laughter as Amara and her bear group were led to her husband's house on foot until lions suddenly emerged from the bush. Chaos erupted as people scattered in fear. The hunters quickly sprang into action, and a fierce battle ensued. One of the lions pulled off the hand of a brave hunter who collapsed to the ground, blood pouring from his wound. The villagers watched in horror as the hunter lay unconscious, his fate uncertain. The other hunters fought valiantly, their arrows finding their marks with deadly precision. The lions were eventually killed, and Amara was safe. But the close call left everyone shaking. Nneka wept with relief, holding her daughter tightly, her body trembling from the ordeal. Ezeoba, on the other hand, his relief was short-lived. He knew the second part of the prophecy still loomed over his son Chinedu. He stationed men by the village river, instructing them to remain hidden and vigilant, and on the fateful day, Chinedu went to the river to swim. A powerful current pulled him under, and he started to drown, the hidden men leaped into action, diving into the water, and rescued him just in time. Despite his interventions, Ezeoba wouldn't shake the fear that fate would find another way to strike. He doubled his efforts to provide and protect his children, always being vigilant. The tension in his household was palpable, but the family grew closer through their shared ordeal. One night, Ezeoba had a vivid dream. The river goddess widely appeared to him, her voice gentle yet firm. She told him that the children's destiny were not to bring sorrow, but to teach him the value of love and redemption. She revealed that the children had forgiven him in the spirit world, and that the trials were meant to strengthen his spirit. Ezeoba woke with a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. He quickly gathered his family and told them everything. The tragic accident with Adanna, the cause of the spirit children, and his dream. They listened in rapt silence and attention, and then as he finished, they embraced him. Tears of relief and joy streaming down their face. The curse has been lifted, and their future was no longer overshadowed by fear. Nneka cried tears of joy to hear about this. She was shocked that Ezeoba kept this away from her all these years. Ezeoba's life transformed from one of despair to one of joy and prosperity. He became more loving and devoted to Nneka, his wife, regretting the pain he had caused her during their years of misfortune. The family thrived, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. The spirit children, once harbingers of doom, had become symbols of hope and redemption. And so Ezeoba and his family lived happily ever after, a testimony to the power of redemption and the strength of a father's love.